Welcome to Retirement Rescue Radio, a show specifically designed to help retirees and pre-retirees maximize their financial efficiency so you can live the retirement lifestyle you've always imagined. Your host is Nate Miller, investment advisor representative and author of the CPR Retirement Rescue Roadmap. Nate discusses thoughts and ideas from some of today's most knowledgeable professionals in the field of finance. He offers strategies along the way to help you make better financial decisions so you can maximize your retirement. This is Retirement Rescue Radio.
Well, hey there, Retirement Rescue Radio listeners. This is Nate, your host, and we've got a topic today that's going to go over a little bit of innovation in the retirement community. So I've talked a lot about different types of annuities on this channel. And what we're going to go over today, there was an article from, it was actually on investmentnews.com, but I saw it because I subscribed to Michael Kitces. It's kitces.com. And he has, some weekend reading for retirees that he puts out, weekend reading for financial advisors. And so it's always on different things in the advisor space. And this guy's, he's an academic. He's just a very well-respected person in the financial advising industry. And this particular article is talking about how there are new commission-free contingent deferred annuity products that are targeting the RIA market. And what does that mean? So, those of us financial advisors that are working with clients that are nearing retirement, they're already in retirement, that we have to contend with something called sequence of return risk. I've talked about that in my seminars. I've talked about it in all of my meetings with prospective clients, with current clients. And sequence of return risk is the chance that a client's portfolio could decline dramatically in the first few years of their retirement. And that could potentially permanently impair the portfolio withdrawals that the client's going to be able to take and could lead to what they call portfolio failure. Meaning, in layman's terms, they ran out of money. It's like, let's just say that. Come on, guys. So anyway, it's talking about how if you have too large of losses, sequence of return risk, if you have too large of losses during your retirement and you're also pulling money out at the same time, the effect to the portfolio could be, instead of the 10 or 20% loss that the portfolio actually experienced, when you pull money out, that could have the effect of taking 15 or 25, maybe even 30% out, depending on how long it takes to recover. And therefore, it's very difficult to keep portfolio principles intact when that type of return is needed to offset some of those losses coupled with the withdrawals. So what this is talking about is a way to reduce that, because guaranteed income products like annuities, which can reduce the need for portfolio withdrawals during periods of poor investment returns. So if the market goes down, that can help reduce that sequence of return risk. And so that does represent a potential solution to the problem. But there has been, the stigma that comes along with annuities, the commissions, and even the limited investment choices and some of the other more variable products, or particularly the fee-only RIAs that prefer to manage their retirement portfolios directly. They've been trying to, do that by just managing it. They try to limit that sequence of return risk just solely from their management ability. And so they have actually, a lot of RIA or fee-only advisors or fee-based advisors have shied away from annuities simply because, well, if you want to take my opinion, if they're only able to work in the securities industry, so they're only able to manage money or charge fees for their retirement planning services, then of course they're not going to recommend annuities because they don't make any money from them. So that's why I always say it's important to work with advisors who work in both the insurance world and the securities world. So now it's like, we really don't care what you get as long as it's the best for you. So since we have everything in our toolbox, we're not just looking for one tool to do a job that it really wasn't designed to do. If we have all of our tools, it's just a matter of grabbing the right tool. I've said that I don't know how many times. And so this is the same thing. It's starting to try to help manage that sequence of return risk in such a way that still gives these RIAs the ability to manage the money and therefore earn a fee for their management services within an annuity wrapper. That's really what they're doing. Here's an annuity that you guys can offer now that you can still charge fees for and has an insurance component to it. So they're calling it kind of like a standalone living benefit, an SALB, standalone living benefit. And so what it's really doing is it's allowing the RIAs, the registered investment advisor, that's what RIA stands for. It's allowing them to manage this asset, manage this annuity. And then if the money runs out, that's when the insurance component kicks in. Okay. And so the protection does come at a price, obviously, though. It's not going to be free. And they say that the average fees on the product are going to range somewhere between 1.3 and 1.6% per year for most clients, on top of whatever the advisor is charging, and also on top of whatever the underlying expense ratios or other internal fees of the products or of the funds are as well. So it kind of, in my opinion, it's still kind of looking like a variable annuity where you've got fees upon fees and maybe a little bit more fee, right? And so that's one of the big issues that we always find whenever we read negative articles on annuities. The vast majority of them are talking about variable annuities when they mention the high fees, but unfortunately, the article never differentiates what type of annuity they're actually talking about. And so annuities usually just get lumped into one category where there are several different types of annuities and several different features of each type of annuity. So this is looking a heck of a lot like a variable annuity that just maybe doesn't have an upfront commission and allows the advisor to continually manage it. So that's the big difference. Instead of the accounts being sub-accounts that are actually administered by the insurance company, these are separately managed, third-party managed funds that can, give you a little bit of sequence of return protection. And so the name of one of them that's coming out, so it's in partnership with Midland National Life Insurance. They're a huge insurance company. It's been dubbed Constance, and that's the commission-free living benefit that it's paired with. But separate from that, there's about, I think, 200 mutual funds, a few ETFs, and some model portfolios that the RIAs can select from, according to those firms. So that's pretty much it. But like I said, it's really, it is very similar to some of the variable annuities with the guaranteed withdrawal benefit. But the biggest difference is that the investments are separate custodians. So they could be a TD Ameritrade, they could be a Fidelity, they could be a Charles Schwab, they could be a Pershing, instead of under the insurance company's administration. And so the issue that I find here is once again, it's variable. And just like the variable annuities themselves, they also do offer that guaranteed lifetime withdrawal benefit. A lot of them have income riders that are on them. And so the question is going to be, what type of income can they get? That's really it, because variable annuities, since they have to allow for the fact that the investments can go down because of market risk, the income benefits, what we have found, are usually not as robust as the income benefits that you can get from fixed index annuities. Since fixed index annuities cannot go down in value due to poor market performance, they have the ability to give you a higher income, basically, is what that means. And so I see that here too, because the account values still can go down. So is the withdrawal benefit, is the income rider, is the guaranteed income that you can get from this type of a product, is that going to be in line with variable annuities, or is it going to be more in line with fixed index annuities? That's what we're wanting to know, because there's someone in here that's quoted that says the goal here was to hit a 5% withdrawal rate at age 65, which is becoming more difficult to do in a low interest rate environment. And I would disagree. There's a lot of ways that we're able to work with different types of annuities, or even laddering different annuities, where we can hit those 5% income withdrawal rates using fixed index annuities. And so that's where I'm like, I'm really not seeing that. So maybe the income is going to be more like a variable annuity rather than the increased amount of fixed index annuities on average. It does say the fees can actually range more than what I even said. I was talking about maybe averaging 1.3 to 1.6. Here it's saying the fees can range from about 1.1% to about 2.2%. And then again, that's on top of the advisor. So if you're sitting there, let's just say 1.3 to 1.6, let's just call it 1.5. So if you're at 1.5, or that's at 1.5, maybe the other advisor is at 1 or 1.5, you're looking at 2.5 to 3% of fees on top of whatever the underlying fund fees are too. And expense ratios can be 0.5%, can be over 1%. Let's just say the mid range, another 0.5%. So now you're looking at 3 to 3.5% fees before you're going to see any type of a return on your product. So once again, and they even limit the amount of allocation that you can put into equities. So you might have to have some in bond funds. And so the maximum equity for self-built portfolios is going to be 75%, slightly higher for some of the model portfolios that are available. But you still get, you're still limiting basically your return by doing that. And so fees upon fees, and you have to still fall within certain guidelines on what they can invest in. So my overall, I want to say, perception, or my overall opinion of this is, one, I'm really glad to see the innovation in this space. I love that portion of it, but I still think they're kind of missing the mark on it. I still don't quite like the design. Maybe if, once this becomes more and more mainstream and we're able to see what type of income streams you're able to get, what kind of withdrawal percentages you're able to get, maybe this will be a little bit more of something that we, mix into our repertoire of offerings. But at this point, it just still looks like it's going to be lacking, and it just smells way too much still of a variable annuity, which is one of my least favorite types. Big fan of the fixed index annuity, because a lot of times you can get those with no fees, and like I mentioned, higher income. A lot of them still really good growth potential, even though that they say that you don't get any of the downside, but you get some of the upside. Well, a lot of cases you could get a pretty darn good amount of the upside. But anyway, so that's kind of how I look at that. And one of the reasons that this innovation is happening is because according to surveys, 78% of RIAs have said that predictable income was actually more important to their clients than asset growth. And so it's like when we get to that point where we have this huge nest egg now that we've been saving for retirement, we want an income stream off of that in retirement. We don't really care if it grows a whole lot. We care more about the income to do the things that we want to do in life, rather than just dying with a huge chunk of money that we don't get to take with us anyway. And so I agree. And from even my own experience, the clients of ours that have the most worry-free retirements are those that have a good portion of guaranteed income coming in, because they know that no matter what, like, this is their minimum. It's like, even if they run out of money, they still get to receive that paycheck, just like a pension. If you could have gotten a lump sum versus taking your monthly paycheck, and the monthly paycheck is what you chose, but you've taken so much out of it now that the lump sum would have been gone long ago, you still get that monthly paycheck. And that's the same way with annuities. And so that's why a lot of retirees are having great retirements when they have that guaranteed income, because we've basically taken out the biggest question, or the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. And so if you have products that literally don't run out of money, then you take that fear away, and you can enjoy your life, your retirement a lot more. You can have a higher quality of life, higher quality of enjoyment, because even if you spend that money tree is going to replenish that check the very next month. So that's it. So one, I like the innovation. I'm still not quite sold on the product unless there's some changes that are made on it, or they're able to lower some of those internal fees, because when you add management fees upon mutual fund fees upon this product fees, and then it starts getting a little bit too much, in my opinion. So that's it, guys. But we're always going to be looking for products like this. That's one of the things that we do, because, like I said, since we work in both worlds, insurance and securities, and want to make sure that whatever we're offering is always the best for our clients, we're looking for things like this. If we find things like this that, let's say we were using a tool that worked well, like let's just say a hammer and nail, right? Long time ago, hammer and nail, that was really the only choice that you had in order to hammer a nail into a board. Well, then they came out with nail guns, and nail guns worked so much better, right? What would you say to a contractor that is still using a hammer and nail instead of a nail gun when the nail gun works so much better? Yeah, there's still things where you need to use a hammer and nail, but for the vast majority of it, you use that nail gun and you're going to get that done so much faster. And this is the same thing here. We're looking for the nail guns in the investment universe to continue to keep abreast of what's going to work best for our clients. So that's why I wanted to get this article out there, and we'll have links to it in the show notes as well. So that's it for today, guys. Short, quick one there. So appreciate you listening in. We're always going to continue to scour the internet for stuff like this or innovations that are going on because we want to empower you guys to live the retirement you deserve. Take care.